One day I feel alright. The next I'm looking for the light, for the light, for the light.
Hello friends, welcome to the vlog. This is going to be May 2023 with Pragmastery. Okay siblings, so this month we have so much work to do before a conference in June. We have so many books to read because I'm so happy about books right now, and we have so much life to live. We have so much to be grateful for. I don't really have a TBR going into May. I'm definitely a mood reader. But I do have some books that I have my eye on for the very near future if the mood should strike. In the summertime and the late spring when it's kind of rainy, I'm definitely more into fantasy than I am sci-fi or romance or anything else really. And I especially really like children's books in the summer. Don't ask me why. I have a few books here I'm going to show you real quick. I'm not going to talk too much about them. Skip through here if you would like the books, if you don't want to see the life stuff, or if you have a specific book you would like to see. The first two books in Fart Quest, I saw these at the library and just had to immediately pick them up with no context. And doing a quick flip through, it seems like what these are, wow, cat hair. Seems like what these are is basically like a D&D silly little chapter book for kids. They go on this little D&D adventure. There's actually adventure points, spell levels, there's maps, there's different characters like a bard and a sorcerer. I mean, what's not to like? And it's called Fart Quest. I'm gonna read it if it has fart in the title. Next, I did get my book of the month delivery today, so we'll see if I'm in the mood for some high fantasy on the seas, little nautical vibes. I'm not really though. I don't know that this will be this month. This may be a next month kind of thing. Not really sure, but I am so excited about this book, and I got it for like $5 from Book of the Month because they had a sale. And lastly, we have A Pinch of Magic because I have the first three books, two from the library, and then I own the first one. If I like the first one, I might just go buy the other two, but I would really like to get to this pretty soon. I'm going to do a video series where I review the entire trilogy so far. I think it's going to be a trilogy. I don't remember. This is children's fantasy with like little witches and their sisters, and it's cute, and it seems like there's a lot of messages about family and ancestry and magic and community. What's not to like? Those are the books I'm kind of feeling like right now. The readathon ended a few days ago and the sun is doing weird things, so please forgive me. It's a rainy day, so the clouds are moving a lot. But I finished book 3 in the Wings of Fire graphic novel series. This is The Hidden Kingdom. I liked this a lot more than the second book. If you saw my review for that, I will link the video up above. I really enjoyed this, and I thought that the plot was really good, the intrigue is really good. A lot happens in this singular volume. I really liked the conversations around family and belonging and community and being responsible for the lives and making decisions for other people, dragons, whatever you want to say. Very excited to have completed another semester of the magical readathon. It's always a joy. Again, at the end of it, thank you so much to G Book Roast for creating this readathon, for upkeeping it. It's a lot of work. Thank you so much. Thank you through everything that you're going through for putting this together and making people's lives just so much better and happier and magical. My Cloud Shark slides came in today and they're super comfortable and super easy to wear. The only complaint I have is that the smallest size is definitely too big for me. Just a little bit. It hangs over about that much and they slide off really easy for me. But I also got the kid a pair that are pink. She picked them out herself and I'm so excited to see her in her little baby shark slides. I'm gonna die. My laptop case also came in. I'm so excited. This was the Mother's Day present I picked for myself from my husband. I need a laptop case for traveling coming up soon. It has fake alligator scale print on it. It's bigger than I expected. It fits a lot more in it than I thought would fit in it. And it's stunning. Stunning! I went to Costco this morning and I also picked up a collection of Kate DiCamilo's works, the classics, you know, Tale of Despero, all of that, Edward Tulane, you get the point. Very excited to have those. I've already read most of them, not all of them. I'll keep them for the kiddo when she gets a little older. That's her shelf right here. Also picked out a birthday present for a family member whose birthday's in August, but it was on sale and it was perfect, so we got that out of the way. Got some really yummy snacks from Costco today. I didn't need too much from Costco, like essential wise, but I had to go anyway to renew the membership, do a return, and I needed to pick up a few things for a party tomorrow that we're going to. Obviously, I looked at snacks. So the plan today, I need to vacuum upstairs and downstairs, do a ton of laundry. I feel like I just constantly say that, but guess what? That's my life. It's just laundry. I'm so sick of laundry. I hate laundry. Least favorite chore. Least favorite chore. I would rather do the dishes. I know that's like totally controversial. Everyone feels the complete opposite, but hate laundry. And after I finish all of that, I'm gonna go pick up the kiddo. Hopefully she takes a nap today. Yesterday she was not participating at Nana's house. She was like, nap time? Unheard of. Never heard of that. Yay for me. My kid is a rebel. I would also like to say that I woke up extra early this morning, took a long walk in the rain. It was kind of misty, sprinkling. It was lovely. And I got to spend just some time meditating with my meditative music on in my earbuds, walking in the rain, looking at all the greenery and the plants that's so uncommon for Southern California. And I was so alone in the best way. I love some solitude. I just want to be left alone most of the time, and that's not the lifestyle of a married parent. You don't get a lot of time just in complete solitude, and we have a roommate too, so it was really, really nice to take a long walk by myself, not answer my phone, just walk quietly down the street, looking at all the plants and admiring the world around me. Cannot tell you how much that did for me today, and I feel energized and ready for the rest of the day. I didn't even listen to an audiobook. I just took in the space. After my walk, Costco trip, now we're here. I'm gonna start doing chores and listening to an audiobook. I think I'm gonna start listening to A Pinch of Magic and have that be my audiobook for right now. And then I'm gonna pick up the kiddo from her grandparents' house. Then my day is entertaining a 2-year-old. This month is going to be very busy. I have many, many work tasks to get done before the conference in June. I ended up with more to do for that conference than I expected to. I don't normally get timelines on things as intensely, so it's a lot to do, and I have a lot to manage all at once, and I need to like contact people and design something and then make a bunch of orders. Luckily, I can do all my work from home, but I am kind of stressed. Come with me as I go on a month of work, parenthood, books, and lifestyle. Let's be happy. Let's focus on us and live intentionally. Hello friends, so it is May 10th and I am now 69% of the way through Pinch of Magic. I just took a shower and I had lunch before my shower. I put the kid down for her nap and she did not resist at all, so the vibes are on point today. We're gonna go to the library this afternoon, which I'm super duper excited about. I hope this nap lasts past 1 p.m. She went down at noon when she normally goes down at 1. So I'm hoping we haven't messed everything up because she was tired early. Last night we made a really delicious dinner for the first time. I made the harissa potatoes from this recipe book and it was really delicious. They were a lot of work, but all recipes are the first time you make them. I'll make them again and see how long it took, and if it's not too much effort, I think that's gonna be a mainstay in our routine because it's just potatoes, oil, salt, the harissa paste, and some parsley, which are all things that are kind of shelf stable and can sit in the fridge for a little bit and are versatile for other things if we end up not making it. Other than the library today, I have a work thing due that I am nervous about. I just have so much to do, more than I expected right before this conference. I need to get an entire roll-up banner made before tomorrow. I have to make it and order it today while taking care of the child and going to the library and handling everything else at the home. So wish me luck. We're gonna be okay. I did take a long walk this morning, which is how I read 3 more chapters of this cute little book here. Let's talk about the book really quick. I did not expect the darkness of this story. I did not expect the intensity of emotions I would feel during this story. I thought maybe I was just being a little hormonal, if you get my drift. But no, I think this book is really hard-hitting, and the sisterly love is unmatched. And the overall themes in this book are pretty dark. If you have a sensitive child, I probably would not recommend this if they're young. If they're a teenager, probably fine. But there are some really heavy things, possibly triggering things in this book, even though it's a children's book. The main plot takes place around prisoners in a jail for the worst prisoners. So did not expect that for a children's book. I'm sorry, my cat is just so needy right now. Did not expect all of the things that are focused on to be focused on. For me personally, the harder topics about this prison are a little much, and I think that's okay though. It doesn't go too far, but it is something that I think you should be aware of if you have a child that you would like to read this book. Make sure they are mentally mature enough and emotionally mature enough for a book like this. It's very hard-hitting. There's a lot of death and violence. There's mentions of murder, suicide, madness, solitary confinement. There's a lot going on here, but I think it's done really well, and I think it's done appropriately and with caution and care and compassion. So keep that in mind, please. But I'm really loving the difference between the 3 main characters, the little sisters. They're all so very different, but not different in like a weird, stupid way like some kids' books are. Like one of them eats rocks and the other one eats sticks. They actually have very different personalities that I think really closely follows some birth order theories that are out there. You can definitely feel the oldest child energy from the oldest child and the youngest child energy and the middle child energy. I think it's a really great dynamic. Cannot wait to finish it out. I probably won't get any time today, but I've been listening on our walks. So if we take a walk this afternoon, which I doubt we will because it's raining, then I will continue listening. Anyways, I'm off to work now. I will catch up with you when I've read some more. Easy. Hello my friends, it is May 16th, it is a Tuesday, and I apologize for the lack of updates. We are just going to fly through this one in the vlog footage. I have been so busy with work. That's just how it's going to be this summer for a little while. Hopefully it calms down after. Let's talk about the book. I finished A Pinch of Magic last week. I haven't had any alone time to film this, so here we are. I read this book on audiobook on my morning and afternoon walks for the last week. It was so good. So good. 5 out of 5 stars. 100%. Put it through CowPile, confirmed. 5 out of 5 stars. So good. So charming, so magical, way darker and deeper than I could have ever expected for a children's novel. It definitely gives off similar vibes to Witchlings. This book is a lot darker and more of a dirty fantasy, while Witchlings is more of a clean, quirky, happy fantasy. Not that A Pinch of Magic didn't have its positives and its like upper moments. It definitely did. It was very lighthearted. But it covered way heavier of topics. The world was a lot darker. The plot all around something pretty dark, while the Witchlings felt pretty low stakes in my opinion, and it didn't feel as heavy. It felt very light and uplifting. So that would be the main difference between the two. If you liked one, I definitely suggest the other. Interestingly, this book also gave me the Drowned Woods vibes, which is kind of confusing. I read Emily Lloyd Jones's book, The Drowned Woods, last year, and this is very eerily similar in the vibe. If you liked The Drowned Woods and you like middle grade, this is a similar book, but nowhere near the same story at all. They just give me the same feeling, you know? I can't explain it. I could not tell you what exactly it is about the story, but it gave me those same vibes. And that's a good thing because I loved The Drowned Woods. The only hesitation that I would have about recommending A Pinch of Magic is that it is a heavier topic. There are some content warnings that are required, and this book does not shy away from real world issues, which is very positive in most cases. It's a good thing. We need to talk about these things. We need to educate children and make them aware of these things. I could also see this being very triggering for a sensitive child, or triggering for adults who may find the topics to just be a little too much. So do be aware going into this book. It does have some more intense topics. It takes place surrounding a town that is just for people who know others in prison. It's about escaping prison. There's content warnings for suicide, the male gaze, sexism, imprisonment, incarceration, false incarceration, murder. It's done well, it's done with respect, and I thought it was fine for me. Other than that, the plot, absolutely riveting, kept me in its grasp the entire time. Unsurprisingly, the plot wasn't super unpredictable. I did have some idea of what was going to happen. I didn't know how we were going to get there, but you know, it was kind of cookie cutter in that I could predict the plot as an adult who's read a lot of children's books. But I thought it was riveting and very intriguing. It had me in its grip the entire time. I highly recommend. It's very plot driven, but also extremely character driven. I love that the three sisters have such vastly different personalities, not in stupid ways like some kids' books where it's like, oh, that one stinks and that one's quiet and that one's happy. It was much more different than that. Each character had so much depth. They seemed so realistic for their birth order, and I really enjoyed the specific character we got to follow. I love that there was not a romance at the center, but there was still a romance. I really enjoyed that there was this emphasis on platonic friendship and love, while also highlighting sisterly love and also highlighting parental and guardian love, and how it's complicated and how all of those relationships can be extremely complicated, and how trusting people can be very complicated. I really enjoyed it. I really think it's a great book for kids, especially those navigating friendships or sibling rivalry, whatever it is. Great messages. Once my kid is able to read, I'm definitely going to hand her this book. Let me know by liking this video if you'd like me to read the rest of the Pinch of Magic series. I do have the next 3 books, so let me know. I'll add it to this video series. Very excited to continue on with the series and cry some more, because I did cry a little bit at this end of this book. I wasn't gonna admit it, but I did, and I'm not that emotional, so I don't understand how that happened. Now that I finished A Pinch of Magic, I have been reading Oaths of Legacy by Emily Skrutsky. This is the second book in the Bloodright trilogy. So far, I'm 20% of the way through, and it is intriguing, to say the least. Very interested in this, like, friends to lovers to enemies to friends-ish lovers. Like, it's very strange. I love the non-linear feelings between all of the characters that are going on. It's just, it's fascinating. It's politically intriguing. And I'm really a big fan of Emily Skrutsky's writing. They work really well as audiobooks in particular. I'm not a fan of reading her books with my eyes, but I do really like the audiobooks, so I'm enjoying that. I'm 20% of the way through. It's getting very hot outside, so the walk situation is getting dire. I don't know when we're gonna take walks anymore, because we can't just go once in the morning and once in the afternoon. It's too hot by 9 a.m. and it's way too hot all afternoon into the evening until the sun's already gone, and the kid is not going to be awake once the sun is down. We took a walk this morning and I was metaphorically dying of heat stroke. It was so hot. I didn't know if I was gonna make it. I had to come home and take a shower because I was so sweaty. The kid just woke up from her nap. We're going to have her play outside today on her little water station because it is very warm. Perfect day for water splash time. Other than that, I have some books that I'm kind of thinking about that I'm going to start after Oaths of Legacy. I'm going to continue the Guardians of Gaul video series I'm doing. I need to continue on the Spiderwick Chronicles, which should be a quick project if I just actually listen to them. That's the plan for the week. Let's quickly go over some of the things that I got in the mail recently. Yesterday got my new phone. I got the Pixel 7 in lemongrass. My old phone was dying rapidly. I had to charge it like 4 or 5 times a day. It was running out of storage. The screen was broken in a way that would cause typing to get all weird. So if you had to message me in the last year, I am so sorry. All the typos, and they weren't entirely my fault. They were also the phone screen doesn't work very well. It was very glitchy and it just had a lot of issues and it would randomly crash. So I got the Pixel 7 in lemongrass and boy is she stunning. I need to get a case. I have a case coming in from Casetify. The metal on the phone is kind of this champagne-y gold, and then the back is this key lime pie lemongrass color. It makes me hungry. It's so beautiful. I've never gotten a phone that wasn't black in adulthood. I just always go for black because of obvious reasons. But this lemongrass one, I couldn't pass it up. It's a beautiful green. It makes me very happy to look at. Can't wait to have a case on this because this phone is one of the most slippery phones that I've ever held in my life. She's slippery. She is not meant to stay in your hand very well. I already have my screen protector on and yeah, new phone. Very excited. We'll have to think of a name. I'm thinking lemongrass. I know, shocking. Monk and Robot vibes, call it lemongrass because it's a machine. So that's the phone news. And then I thought it was so cute. I had to get the kiddo some pillows because she sleeps with pillows now. She's 2 and she asked for a pillow for her bed. So I got alphabet and numbers because she loves counting and singing her alphabet. And then we went to the library. So let's do a library haul. I had to order all of these books from a different county. So I'm not even gonna hide the barcode because they're not from our county. But I got Lily the Thief, which is a graphic novel but seems super cute, fantasy. And then I requested all of the Guardians of Gaul up to book 8, I believe. There is definitely more than 8. I just ordered up to 8 for this summer. I'm going to listen to the audiobooks for these to finish out my Guardians of Gaul series. So if you're sticking around for that series, it's happening very soon. Little spoiler alert for the vlogs. I finished The Rescue before I read A Pinch of Magic, and spoiler alert, I cried. Like I was sobbing on my morning walk listening to this book, and the neighbors thought I looked so crazy, I bet. I'm just saying you might want to keep an eye out for when I post the video series on these books because I was shook by the amount I would care about these. Hello my friends, it is April 24th and I've been working like crazy, but I've also been reading like crazy. So let's talk about the books that I've read and am currently reading right now. Last week I finished Oaths of Legacy by Emily Skrutsky. This is the second book in the Blood Right trilogy. The romance in this book is less sweet and friends to lovers and more tension-filled, political, intense, you know, a little heartstring pulling. And the ending of this book had me audibly gasping and grabbing my chest. My husband thought I was losing my mind, and he would be right. I really love all of these characters, and I cannot wait to move on to the third book. It was exactly what I needed in this moment of my life. The next book I actually DNF'd pretty early, only about 2 chapters in, and that's The Adventures of Amina al-Sirafi, which is by Shannon Chakraborty. And the reason I DNF'd this has nothing to do with the quality or content of this book. I think this book has 5-star potential. The writing is excellent. The narration style is very interesting. The feminism, adventure, nautical, pirate kind of setting, absolutely amazing. There's monsters and all of this crazy stuff going on. I love that we follow a more middle-aged woman instead of a character who's just getting into adulthood. Like, Amina is a mother and she's retired, and there's just all of this stuff that I really love about this book in particular, which is why I initially bought it. After reading the synopsis, I was intrigued. But I thought I was listening to the wrong audiobook when I first started listening to it on my walk the other day. As you may know from some of my past videos, I will link a playlist about this. I am not part of an Abrahamic religion. I am actually from a religion that comes before Christianity and other Abrahamic religions, and I'm also an atheist. This book is very preachy, and I mean that in a non-offensive way. It's just very much preaching Muslim beliefs, and I think that's amazing. I love that kind of representation, and going into it, I thought, okay, that's okay. It'll probably calm down. Generally, books that are going to be a little bit preachy end up doing it in the beginning, and it kind of falls off towards the second chapter after the author has made their point. But this book, every other sentence is extremely preachy and religious, mentioning all of this is because of a God, all of this, God that, his light. You get the picture, and I don't think that's a bad thing, and I don't think this takes from the book at all. If you are Muslim, if you believe in a God or have any similar beliefs to Muslims, I think this could be an excellent 5 out of 5 star book for you. I really do. But I personally have a lot of religious trauma, not only as a pagan, but from my childhood, where organized religion is something that's really terrifying for me and actually triggers my fight or flight system. It's just not something I have positive associations with. Even if I think it's very important representation, it's not for me, and I acknowledge wholeheartedly that this is not for me. This is not the intended audience. I am not an Own Voices reviewer. I'm not an Own Voices reader. I cannot say anything about this book and it be fair. So naturally, I am going to gift this book to a friend of a friend who is a Muslim feminist, who will probably see themselves in this book, or at least see their culture in the book, and feel really good about that. And they will probably give this a more fair review than I would. If the religious aspects, the preaching wasn't in here, I could already tell from the first few pages this would have been a 5 stars for me. So I am really sad about missing out on a really epic feminist fantasy adventure. I really, really am. The only reason I'm DNFing this is because I want to give it a fair chance, because this kind of representation is important, but it is not for me. And I am not going to take away from this book's value by reading it. I would rather pass it on and have it circulate to other people and change other people's lives. For people who maybe don't have religious trauma, this could be a really powerful and fantastic read. And I wholeheartedly acknowledge that. I, with a full heart, am going to pass this on and be happy that somebody else gets to enjoy this, even if I can't. I recently finished The Rescue, which is going to be the next book that I move on to, The Siege. I've been reading the Guardians of Gaul series for a little bit now. I'm super excited to continue on with this. The books are really short. They're only about 2.5 hours of audiobook listening. My library has them. I had to actually request physical copies from a different county because these books are ridiculously hard to find, and that's very upsetting because the series is so amazing. I want to just own them all, but I cannot find new copies of these books that aren't ridiculously expensive or absolutely the worst printing ever. These fall apart when you just look at them. So very depressed about that. The series is definitely picking up after the second book's events. I think the third book is still my favorite, just because of a certain character and the plot. Something about it reminds me of my childhood. This book, I can tell, is going to be pretty dark and a little scary. I'm excited, but I'm also not thrilled to be hearing from the enemy's perspective. Started listening to this one, and I'm already halfway through, just in 2 days of walking, so hopefully I can finish this pretty soon. We also have a conference coming up in June for work where we're going to be traveling, and it's going to be a lot of work. The office I work for is hosting this conference. So not only do we have to travel to the conference, but we're hosting it, so there's work to be done in preparation. And the work I'm doing, I have to do for like 3 different things around this conference. So today I actually had like an hour-long meeting during nap time, which was not going super well to begin with. and I'm getting things all put together. I have deadlines coming up. I'm super busy and I'm super tired, but honestly, I've been feeling really good. I'm kind of mentally tired, but physically energized. I've been taking 2.5 mile walks every single day, every morning and every night. And I've also sometimes been doing yoga on overcast days outside, which is really lovely. We've also been trying new recipes in the kitchen, cooking a lot. Follow me on Instagram if you want to see more of the daily shenanigans going on, because I don't always get the chance to vlog, especially when the boys work from home. It just makes it a little bit harder. But yeah, the child has been feral recently, just absolutely feral. She's going through her 2-year molars coming in and a 2-year mental leap. So things are, they're looking a little chaotic for us over here. Luckily, my mother-in-law is going to come by tomorrow so that I can dedicate a full day to working in the office. I'll come home and trade off with her, which will be really, really nice to just focus on work for a day. It's been kind of hard working from home since the kid has been less than cooperative than she normally is. That's kind of the plan. Work tomorrow, Friday, nothing. Saturday, we have a family thing going on. It's just... it's just like we can't get a day where nothing's happening, if that makes any sense. And that can be kind of exhausting, especially with a child that's not sleeping through the night anymore for some reason, and struggling to nap and struggling to just exist because being 2 is really hard. Anyways, all of that to say, I'm busy, but I'm happy. We're slaying. Wearing my t-shirt in honor of my child today because she is the sun and I am the moon. Anyways, I'm going to go have lunch because I'm very hungry and try to work off some of the energy from the 3 coffees I've had today. Okay friends, so here is future Pragmastery to retroactively go over what we read in May, because someone's life got kind of crazy. We had some health things, we had some scares, we had some car problems. Life has just really taken a turn. So I want to go over all of the books that I read in May and give you some thoughts on them so that I can close out this vlog for you. I ended up reading / DNFing 7 books in total, which is 6 books I read, 1 book I DNF'd. The first book that I read in May was on May 1st for Belle Tenue. I will have a video coming out right after this one about the celebration, but I read Belle Tenue, Springtime Rituals, Lore and Celebration. It is a nonfiction book by Raven Grimassi, I believe is how you say that. It is quite short. It's a good basic introduction. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I didn't think it was an all-encompassing book, but I did think it was an excellent place to start and an excellent place to get into the spirit of Belle Tenue. Next, I read The Hidden Kingdom, which is the 3rd book in the Wings of Fire graphic novel series. This is by Tui T. Sutherland. I really quite enjoyed this book. I loved the messages. I did talk quite a bit about this one in the video, so I will keep this one short, but I ended up on a 4 out of 5 stars. I thought it was really well done. It was even better than the second one in my opinion. I really enjoyed the messages. I thought the plot was really riveting, and I feel like a lot happened in this book as compared to the first book, where I felt like it was kind of a second book vibe. This definitely repaired that second book's pace issue. Next, I read The Rescue by Catherine Lasky, which is the 3rd book in the Guardians of Goa'uld series. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. I am reading this book series for a bigger video that will be coming out later this year, so definitely keep an eye out for that. But I finished this on May 3rd, the same day that I finished the Wings of Fire graphic novel. Again, 5 out of 5 stars. What else can I say about it? It's really good. These books really move me, and for some reason I'm really emotionally attached to them. I don't know what that's about. Things in this book series happen that happen in other series I've read, but there's just something about the characters and them being owls and kind of the journey you go on with them that I get really emotional at some points in these books, which I honestly don't think is a bad thing. It's just kind of odd for me since it's very hard for me to get emotional reading. The next book that I read is A Pinch of Magic by Michelle Harrison. I read this May 11th. I was really on a roll in May at some point. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. It was excellent, so good, a lot darker than I predicted. I did review this one pretty intensely, as you saw, so I will leave it at that. I gave 5 stars, and yeah, couldn't be better. Cannot wait for the second book. The next book I finished on May 21st is Oaths of Legacy. This was an audiobook listen for me, and I absolutely loved this book. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. As you would predict, May was a really good reading month, everybody. This was a really good second novel. I felt so good before the last chapter, and then the last chapter happened, and I was so upset. But in a good way. I cannot wait to get to the third book, which I actually got for my birthday in August from a family member. So if you're out there, Liz, thank you very much. I am very excited to get to that third book. It's gonna wrap it all up. I know it's gonna be good. Emily Skrutsky cannot do any wrong at this point. Even better than the first book, I would say, because of how well it was done and how much history these characters have. I just thought it was really good. Next is the book that I DNF'd. I DNF'd it on May 22nd, which is a really rapid turnaround. That's because it is The Adventures of Amina al-Sirafi. This was by Shannon Chakraborty, and I got this book from Book of the Month. I was so into the vibes of like the nautical sea adventure with a feminist woman. I was into the Muslim themes and all of that, but ultimately I started listening to the audiobook and reading the book physically, and a few chapters in, it was pretty apparent to me that I was not the target audience for this book. I would just like to clarify that this book seems absolutely riveting and like a 5 out of 5 stars for the right audience, but it goes really, really, really heavy into religion to the point that it's every few sentences is mentioned about how much of a faithful believer that this main character is. And as a pagan who has been hurt by religions and is an atheist, it's just not going to click for me. And if that's the main purpose of the book, it is not fair for me to review it. So I ended up finding a feminist Muslim friend of a friend, and she was so excited to get this book. I'm so happy it's in the right hands. I did not rate this book, obviously. If you are interested in a very high stakes adventure with really strong feminist views, but with a very heavy hand in Muslim beliefs and God being a word that's repeated probably 6 million times in this book, I definitely recommend, because it was extremely well written and very intriguing. I really am sad that I didn't have the right personality for this book, I guess. The last book that I finished was May 26th. It is The Siege, Guardians of Gaul #4 by Catherine Lasky, and once again, 5 out of 5 stars. I don't really need to talk about this much more. Make sure you subscribe so that you can see the video when it comes out, because I have made so much more progress since May, since it's now September that I'm filming this. This Gaul series, man. I need to not talk about it, otherwise I'll talk about it for hours. Thank you so much for watching this video. I am so happy to be back, and I'm so happy to be back in connection with you guys. I love you guys. Please comment down below if you made it this far. Thank you so much for watching. I adore you, and I hope to see you in the next one. Stay safe and stay kind, siblings.